Hi to everyone. In the last class, we had discussed about the unit WHC, Unit 1, which is origin, occurrence, and occurrence of the groundwater. So, in that one, in the last class, we had discussed about introduction to the groundwater, sources of the groundwater, and hydrological cycle. So, in this class, we are going to discuss about the topic infiltration and the further topics also. So let's start the topic infiltration. So this topic infiltration, we already know the definition of the infiltration, which is already explained in the hydrological cycle. So let's discuss about that one again. So it is defined as the process by which water enters the surface storage of the earth. It is defined as the process by which water enters the surface storage of the earth. Nothing but water infiltrates into the earth's surface and store or enters into the earth's surface and store in a impermeable medium inside the earth's surface. The process by which water infiltrates into the earth's surface is known as infiltration. So the infiltration water first meets the soil moisture, and thereafter excess water moves vertically downwards, and thereafter the excess water will move vertically downwards to reach the groundwater. So for example, let this is the earth surface, and in this earth surface, let the rainfall will fall from the atmosphere. Later the rainfall travels through the earth surface medium and it first meets the here a soil particle, the moisture present in the soil. First it will meets the moisture present in the soil. Let the green one will be the soil. First it will meets the soil moisture, and thereafter the excess water particles moves vertically downwards to reach the groundwater. Let this yellow particle be the groundwater. After passing through the soil moisture, it enters into the groundwater. So the vertical movement of infiltration water is nothing but percolation. This vertical movement of water into the earth's surface is known as percolation. So an infiltration capacity of the soil will always under given condition will always be under some given conditions. So that infiltration capacity is known as moderate infiltration. Here this infiltration capacity is known as moderate infiltration. So it is capable of absorbing water, and it is denoted by small f. It is capable of absorbing water. So moderate infiltration is nothing but the infiltration capacity of the soil which is given under condition in which it is capable of absorbing water. So and it is denoted by F. Whereas the actual infiltration also takes into consideration. The actual infiltration which is observed at the time of percolation, and it is denoted by Fa, and it is denoted by Fa. It is known as actual infiltration. Therefore actual infiltration can be calculated by using two ways, which is nothing but Fa equal to F if I is greater than or equal to F. When rainfall is greater than or equal to moderate infiltration, then Fa will be equal to F. Whereas second one is Fa equal to I if I is less than F. I means rainfall. If the rainfall is less than the moderate infiltration, then actual infiltration equal to rainfall. Whereas if the rainfall is greater than or equal to moderate infiltration, then actual infiltration will be equal to moderate infiltration. So by this by using this formula based upon the rainfall, we are going to calculate actual infiltration. So the next topic about factors affecting infiltration capacity. Next one is nothing but factors affecting infiltration capacity. So infiltration capacity can be affected by some different factors. They are nothing but first one, thickness of saturated layer. So if the thickness of the saturated layer is less, infiltration will be more. If the thickness is more, infiltration will be less. Second one, depth of surface detention. So depth of surface detention means the depth of the passage through the soil is known as surface detention. Another one is compaction. If the compaction of the soil, compaction means nothing but presence of pores. Compaction is nothing but decreasing the pores in the soil. Pores means holes. So if the holes in the soil is very less, then infiltration is very less. The holes present in the soil is more, infiltration is more. So based upon that context, if compaction is more in the soil, infiltration will be less. So compaction is nothing but pressing of the soil particles. If we press the soil particles means then the pores present between the soil particles will decreases. So based upon that one, if compaction is more, infiltration is less. If compaction is less, infiltration is more. One more thing, surface cover condition. Surface cover condition. So surface cover, nothing but the earth surface, the top surface of the earth surface is very dry, then infiltration will be more. If it is wet, infiltration will be less. Based upon the temperature also, if the temperature is more, infiltration will be more. Temperature is less, infiltration will be less. And other context also taken into consideration, nothing but precipitation, quality of water and freezing point of the water. So based upon the precipitation, nothing but the rainfall, infiltration will be dependent, and the quality of water. So if the rainwater, actually the rainwater is the purest form of the water in the universe. So sometimes while dropping raindrops into the earth's surface, some water particles will collide with the gases and small organic matter present in the atmosphere, and it becomes some less in quality. So quality will be reduced at the time of dropping. So based upon that quality of water also, infiltration will be dependent. If organic matter is presented more in the water, infiltration will be less. Organic matter is less means infiltration will be more. And the freezing point, nothing but if the rain drops as ice cubes or nothing but వడగండ్లు అంటాం కదా వాటిని, so ice cubes, then infiltration will be more. If it's fall as the rainfall means infiltration will be less. So these are the factors which affects the infiltration capacity. So we should take the negative point, the disadvantage point into consideration, and it will affect the infiltration capacity. We can't consider the positive point, we can't consider that one, and we need to consider all the disadvantages for factors affecting infiltration. So the next topic, next topic is nothing but natural openings in rocks. Natural opening is nothing but naturally occurred rocks. So a rock, first of all, what is meant by a rock? Nothing but a rock is a natural substance. Here a rock is a natural substance which is composed of solid crystals of different minerals that have been fused together into a solid lump. So a rock is a natural substance which consists of the solid crystals. It may be with different minerals or different metals that will form into a single solid lump. That is known as a rock, nothing but a natural rock. So the minerals may or may not have been formed at the same time. Different minerals will not form at the same time. At different times also the minerals will be formed, and then after the minerals form, the solid lump will be existed, nothing but formed. Solid lump will be formed after all minerals have been formed. Then a solid lump will be formed, that is known as a natural rock. So in that natural rock, based upon that natural rock, different types of naturally formed rocks are of three types. Different forms of naturally formed rock are of three types. First one is igneous rock, second one is sedimentary rocks, and third one is metamorphic rocks. I think you have already heard about the different types of the rocks at the building materials and construction subject itself. So here let's discuss about very lightly about the topic, the igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks, because in the subject engineering geology also you are going to know the brief discussion about the different types of the rocks. So that's why in this case we are going to discuss just a small nothing but a small what we call that explanation, like a small explanation. We are going to discuss about the naturally formed rocks in this class. So first one is nothing but igneous rocks. So these igneous rocks are volcanic and forms from molten minerals. So whenever the volcanic action or any other action forms means, then or molten material also, at that time igneous rocks are formed. So they include not only lava from volcanoes but also rocks like granite, which are formed by magma. Granite which is formed by magma, and that solidifies in the underground. So granite makes a large parts of all our continents. Granite will be appeared in the large parts of all our continents. So the sea floor is formed a dark lava. The sea floor, wherever the sea floor is presented, sea floor means సముద్రపు నీటి మట్టం దగ్గర సముద్రంలో ఏదన్నా magma form అయితే, if a magma is formed in the deep sea, then it forms a dark lava which is called basalt. So the most common volcanic rock, it is the most common volcanic rock. So it is also found in volcanic lava flows also. Basalt will be also found in volcanic lava flows. So this is nothing but igneous rocks and different types of igneous rocks. Whereas coming to the second one, sedimentary rocks. So sedimentary rocks are formed from eroded fragments of other rocks. Eroded fragments, nothing but due to the erosion. Erosion means surface rubbing. Due to the surface rubbing, the fragments of other rocks or the remains of plants or animals. The remains means the remained particles of plants and rocks. Plants or animals, చెట్ల వల్ల కానీ అనిమల్స్, చనిపోయిన అనిమల్స్ వల్ల కానీ ఏదన్నా హార్డ్ మెటీరియల్, నథింగ్ బట్ we will call bones. These bones can form like a sedimentary rock after remaining. So these fragments accumulate in low lying areas. These fragments will accumulate or will occur in low lying areas like lakes, oceans and deserts. And then it is compressed back into a rock. By the weight of overlying materials. So hence, for example, the main sedimentary rock, we can take an example for sedimentary rock is nothing but sandstone. So which is formed from sand. Not only the sand, from sandstone which is formed from the sand, mudstone which is formed from the mud, and limestone from seashells, etc. So these are comes under sedimentary rocks. Whereas coming to the last third one, metamorphic rocks. So these metamorphic rocks are nothing but either it is sedimentary or igneous rocks, which is transformed by pressure, heat or intrusion of fluids. So metamorphic rock is nothing but both sedimentary or igneous rocks which is formed by pressure, heat and intrusion of fluids. Intrusion means nothing but entering of fluids into the rock. Due to fluids present in the rock, it will form metamorphic rocks. So the heat may come from nearby magma or hot water via hot springs. Heat will apply due to magma or hot water due to hot springs. So it can also come from subduction. Subduction is nothing but when tectonic forces draw rocks, when tectonic forces which draws rocks deep beneath the earth's surface, then subduction will be applied, subduction will be formed. This is nothing but subduction. So for example, metamorphic rocks examples are marble. Marble is a metamorphosed limestone. Quartzite is also one of the metamorphic rock. And the gneiss, Gneiss, gneiss are also one of the rock which comes under metamorphic rocks. So another common metamorphic rock, sometimes granite also considered as metamorphic rock, because these are all combination of sedimentary and igneous rocks. So these comes under natural openings in the rocks, different types of natural openings in the rocks. That is nothing but natural openings are two types: igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. So with this topic I will conclude the video. So for the next class another video will be made and I will send to you after the class completion. So thank you so much.